texting during school. A lot of our youth do it. Why? Is it right? Let's talk with them. Let's figure this out. They all have a lot of rules towards the usage of cell phones and texting and calling, and we're going to discuss if it's really of an important factor in our lives to have it regulated. Safety. You know, these cell phone devices can really get us out of big trouble. Whether it's car trouble, whether it's an emergency, maybe there is a good point of having them around all times. Again, we'll discuss this in today's episode of Guy Talk.
Yeah, we'll be at church in a few minutes. Alright? Alright, fine. Alright. Alright, bye.
Welcome to another episode of Guy Talk on the CYC channel. Thank you for introducing us to our next topic.
No problem.
Cell phones. Good, bad, useful, not? I don't know, we're going to figure it out. Lately, in our schools and, in fact, in our law, using cell phones has become very regulated. What do we feel is the benefit? Is it worth having in schools? But is it worth the destruction that is caused? What do you guys think, guys? Cell phone usage.
Well, I mean, when you're talking about schools, I don't think it's very necessary in schools. Especially, I think it's actually pretty bad to have it like in class. But I think it should be regulated only to be in lockers and used after school.
Regulated? So do you find that the regulations that they have in set right now are adequate?
Well, they don't enforce it so well, but the way that they have it set, I think it's good.
Okay. What do you think, John?
Well, I honestly think that cell phones are necessary. Sometimes you're going to have emergencies where you need to contact someone and the security guards won't let you use it. They'll take it away from you for months. I think, honestly...
Oh, in your school, they'll take it away for months?
For months, weeks.
Wow.
They don't care. They're like, if they set the rules, you have to obey them. I honestly think that's unfair.
It's unfair, you feel? But Modi, what do you think?
Well, in my school, we're not allowed to have cell phones at all. Like, we go through scanners and to scan for cell phones and everything. So we're not allowed to have cell phones.
Guys. Ridgewood, New York.
Alright. And the only way you're allowed to bring in a cell phone is if you have a medical excuse. For example, I have asthma. So I bring in my cell phone, but apparently it wasn't the greatest idea I ever did or said, because I often get a message in class and you answer and you start like dazing golf and so, like,
very good point.
It's good at some points, but sort of like it's also destructive in many other points, whether it's spiritually, educational, or just in your regular life.
Scholar, aren't we? Joey!
I think phones are a useful thing, but outside school. Like inside school, it's pretty much a distraction. Like you don't need it. The only time people really use cell phones in school is like when they're texting somebody, and it's just a distraction. But I think like in schools, the way they regulate and you're not supposed to have phones it's pretty good. But some schools take it too far. Like how are you gonna take away my phone for like months at a time? Like that's just messed up. What if I have, like John said, what if I have an emergency or something like that?
Wouldn't the school give you some type of phone if there really was an emergency in school? What do you think?
Right now, you'll get like an 8-year-old kid walking around with the phone. Like it just became a natural thing with everybody. Like everybody has a phone. Oh, you have a phone. Okay, cool. But with the phones, like they just like they're good, but I don't think they're necessary in school. Like if it's really an emergency, I'm pretty sure the school won't stop you from getting to that emergency. And if they do, then something's wrong at that point. But phones, like, I'm pretty sure if there's an emergency, you're not just gonna take it out in school and be like, hey guys, excuse me, I have an emergency. Can I talk outside, please? Like, I'm pretty sure you're not gonna do that.
We talked about school, but now let's talk about church.
Well, in church, whenever I go in church, I turn my phone off because, like, I know I'll get distracted, like, for the whole time I'm there. Somebody calls me or texts me or something. But I think, like, having your phone on in church it's not necessary. It's a distraction because you won't need it. The only time you're gonna use it is, like, to call somebody or something, and, like, it's not the time. Some people will say, I'm just checking the time, but, like, get a watch.
Well, I honestly think that you don't really need a cell phone in church because your parents will probably be there with you, so I'm pretty sure you don't need it for anything important.
It's okay, from my point of view, it's 100% okay to have your phone in church. Just, like, what time you're at church, and, like, for example, if you're in liturgy, no, turn your phone off. Preferably just leave it with somebody that you know, like, won't give it to you after liturgy. But if you're like, for example, just after church, you're staying around, you're staying with your friends, you're talking and stuff, like, it's okay, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
for example, like he said, I don't really agree that you don't need to have your phone with you in church because you're with your parents, because I'm pretty sure you're not with your parents the whole time. What if they're looking for you? They're going home and they're looking
And
for
that's
you.
the only time that your parents do call. Yeah, I know.
Right? So, like, it's necessary, but, like, everything, it's like everything else in the world. It has its ups and downs.
Exactly. And just to speak about some of the down points, texting while you're on the road has become a really big problem. In fact, I was just watching some documentary regarding it. There's a death on the road every 3 minutes due to texting. So, I mean, it's something for us to think about and how they can distract us, and it can be a life or death situation. So, what about other electronic devices? What other things could distract, and what is some advice you might want to share on how to limit those distractions in the church and in the school atmosphere?
Well, one thing that's becoming common now is the iPhone, for example. The iPhone's it's basically an iPod, an MP3 player, and just a gaming device. So you're distracting yourself with, like, 3 objects in one. You could be listening to music, playing a game, or just texting somebody.
So games, music players, cell phones. You're here to hear first, CYC, on Guy Talk 2009. Let's cut these distractions out of our life so we can appreciate the beauty of God's creation, the beauty of the church, and learn, actually, in school, right? Because, I mean, like you said it, we start dazing off when we have our phones. I mean, yeah, sure, maybe, you know, we're talking to some of the youth here that go to school in New York City, where a little bit more of these regulations are in place. But if you're in your school, if there are no regulations on cell phones, you're here to hear first. It is a distraction. Would you guys agree to that? And just to kind of sum up, what would be your final thing you'd say to someone who'd say, I'm not really getting that distracted from this cell phone?
Number one lie. Because I use that excuse.
Excellent, guys. On behalf of CYC, please, we'd love to hear from you. Email us at the bottom of the screen. Give us your thoughts, your opinions, any funny stories. You guys any have any funny stories regarding cell phones? Okay. You got one?
No. I'll go after.
You'll go after. All right, guys. Well, please email, and we'll see you next time. Glory be to God forever. Amen.